Probability. The foundations of probability is laid by two French mathematicians of the 17th century, Blaise Pascal, 1623–1662, and Pierre de French, 1601–1665, in connection with gambling problems. Later on it was developed by Jacob Bernoulli, 1654–1705, Abraham de Moivre, 1667–1754, and P. Simon Laplace, 1749–1827. The probability have basically two meaning. 1. A quantitative measure of uncertainty. 2. A measure of degree of belief in a particular statement or problem. Probability distributions. To deal with the uncertainties, an understanding of probability theory is essential in order to provide a mathematical model that theoretically describes the behavior of the population associated with the statistical experiment. These theoretical models, which are very similar to relative frequency distributions, are called probability distributions. Types. There are two types of probability distributions. 1. Discrete probability distribution. 2. Continuous probability distribution. Definition. A table or a formula listing all possible values that a discrete random variable, say, x, take on, along with the associated probabilities, is called discrete probability distribution. A discrete random variable assumes each of its values with a certain probabilities. A discrete random variable may also be defined as a random variable whose distribution function jumps at the possible values of x and remains constant between adjacent jump points. The height of each jump points, x, is the probability of event x equals x. That is, if a sample space contains a finite number of possibilities or an unending sequence with as many elements as there are whole numbers, it is called a discrete sample space. Let x be a discrete R, V taking on distinct values x1, x2, x3, xn. Then the function, denoted by p, x, or f, x, and defined by f, she, equals p, x equals x, for I equals 1, 2, n equals 0, for x is not equal to she, is called the probability function, pf, of the random variable x. And the values x1, x2, xn, among which the total probability 1 is distributed, are called the probability points or jump points. P, x equals x means the probability that the discrete R, Vx takes the value she. The distribution function for a discrete random variable is where sum is taken over all she that are less than or equal to x. One. In rolling a die, you could roll a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. All of the die rolls have an equal chance of being rolled, 1 out of 6, or 1/6. This gives you a discrete probability distribution of roll odds. 2. In coin tossing experiments, tossing a coin 3 times, the variable x, representing the number of heads, assumes the value 2 with probability 3/8, since 3 of the 8 equally likely sample points result in 2 heads and 1 tail. Here are some discrete probability distributions. Bernoulli distribution, binomial distribution, hypergeometric distribution, Poisson distribution, negative binomial distribution, beta binomial distribution, geometric distribution, multinomial distribution. Definition. If a variable can take on any value between two specified values, it is called a continuous variable. If a random variable is a continuous variable, its probability distribution is called a continuous probability distribution. The probability that a continuous random variable will assume a particular value is 0. As a result, a continuous probability distribution cannot be expressed in tabular form. Instead, an equation or formula is used to describe a continuous probability distribution. A continuous random variable has a probability of 0, assuming exactly any of its value. Its probability distribution cannot be given in tabular form. The function with values f(x) is called the probability density function for the continuous random variable x if the total area under its curve and above the axis is equal to 1 and if the area under the curve between any two ordinates x equals a and x equals b gives the probability that lies between a and b. L f(x) is a non-negative function. The integration takes place over all possible values of the random variable x between the specified limits, and the probabilities are given by appropriate area under the curve. The quantity f(x) dx is called the probabilities differential or probability element of x. Since example 1 the height of a person, 2 the temperature at a place, 3 the amount of rainfall, 4 continuous distributions are typically used for cost, time and quality metrics. Here are some continuous probability distributions. Normal and log normal distributions, students t distribution, chi-square distribution, f distribution, beta distribution, uniform distribution, gamma distribution, exponential distribution,